You didn't vote in this year's local election, but a handful of New Zealanders did. And they've decided who's going to run the place you live. Here are 10 things you should know about the weekend's local elections. Tamaki Makaurau, Wayne Brown is your mayor. Again. Otautahi, Phil Major is your mayor. Again. Porniki, Tory Whanau is no longer your mayor. Now it's Andrew Little. And fun fact, these are actually 3 different men. 4. 42 councils had a referendum on Māori wards. 25 voted to get rid of them, and 17 voted for them to stay. 5. It was a bad day for vampires. Ruthven Allenrack was not granted permission to enter Dunedin's mayoral office, and due to vampire law, he is now unable to enter the building. 6. Otipoti Mayor Jules Raddick came 4th, and Sophie Barker is taking his spot. 7. Voter turnout was the lowest it's been in 36 years. 8. All the local governments run their own elections, but voter turnout has been so bad that some people think the Electoral Commission should take over, and so maybe it's time for this guy to take the reins. 9. Perry Z unseated Wayne Guppy, and he's been mayor of Upper Hutt since 2001. And finally 10. The fact that you're still watching this video means that you're probably the kind of person who actually did vote in this year's local election. So I apologize to you for lying when I said there are more prisoners in New Zealand than ever before, but why is that? Well, last month the number hit an all-time high of 10,881. The Union for Prison Workers says it's a crisis, and it isn't getting better. Our imprisonment rate is already double Canada's, and the number of prisoners is expected to go up by more than 1/3 over the next 10 years. So why are the numbers so high? Well, one expert says a lot of it is more people being kept in prison while they wait for their trial or sentencing. So these people are on remand. They spend an average of 83 days on remand, and 30% of them aren't convicted. They're just innocent people stuck in prison for a few months. The government recently passed new bail laws that will increase the number of people on remand. They also brought back the 3 strikes law, which forces judges to give the maximum sentence to repeat offenders for some crimes. It currently costs about $150,000 to $190,000 to keep one person in prison for 1 year. And the budget for prisons has already maxed out months ahead of schedule. Earlier this month, this group from the UN said New Zealand must take action to reduce prison numbers. Corrections Minister Mark Mitchell says there's no looming crisis. He recently opened a 600-bed facility in Waikeria, and work has begun to expand a Christchurch prison to fit 1,000 more prisoners. So the government just announced these rules that sound good for pigs, but SPCA and SAFE are like, hey, no, this actually sucks really bad. So here's what's going on. Back in 2020, the High Court was like, hey, those farrowing crates that you're using, they're unlawful, and they breach the Animal Welfare Act. So the Labour government was like, okay, well, we'll just change the law. And by 2025, no one's going to be allowed to use those farrowing crates anymore. And farrowing crates are basically just these cages they put pigs in before and after they give birth. Isn't that right? Yeah. So in 2020, the ban was coming in 5 years, and the animal welfare people were stoked, and the pigs were stoked, and then, eventually, 2025 happens. Okay, and the crates are just about to be banned, and time's running out, and then bam! Associate Minister of Agriculture Andrew Hogarth is like, hey, I've got a new plan. Instead of banning the crates in 2 months, how about in 10 years' time, you're only allowed to use them for like a week? Okay, and I'll carve out a bit of the Animal Welfare Act so the crates aren't actually unlawful. And the SPCA were like, what the hell, why did nobody consult us about this? And then the chief executive of New Zealand Pork was like, well, it's pretty tough, but I think it's fair. And the pigs are mostly just making pig noises, because they're pigs.